timing because the speed at which things are happening on screen will determine the drama, you know. So the game like really changed around right when we got in. It became this thing. But so when you're transferring the story from the script to the screen and storyboards, it gives you your first chance to see if the story actually works. You know, does this thing work? Is it moving well? Because after that, I mean, you know, they write the script. Once you put it down, it's over. It's the story is now the visuals. It's what's going to be on screen, and from there, they're going to send it over. See, they're going to send the script as well, but they're going to follow the boards. You know, the boards are everything. So it's your first time being able to see, does the story actually work? And if it doesn't work, what's broken about it? And it's your job to fix it. We're not going back to script. Sometimes studios will go back to script. It's a waste of time. You know, you hire your board artists to tell the story. They're storyboard artists. You know, they should sit down. They should be able to sit down and do it. So this is the key. So we talked about editing, you know, being able to edit yourself and all the roles that you're responsible for as being a cinematographer and all that stuff. Also, it's very important to know how to write. You know, to have an understanding of narrative storytelling. Because if I give you, you know, we do our boards, those TV shows, you know, which is most likely where folks will get their first shot. They're 4-act plays. You know, there's a what is that? What is it called before Act A? Well, what do we call that? It's been so long.
Oh God,
it's been so long since I've been in TV. So, but you have like this opening. We'll just call it the opening. It's like right before Act A.
I remembered it right before you asked me what it was, and then my brain was like,
"No, I'm gone."
Teaser.
Isn't that it? Yeah, the teaser. And then from the teaser, you go into Act A, and then Act 2, blah blah. When I give you Act 2, you should know as a board artist, okay, we're in Act 2. This is what usually happens in Act 2. This is what usually happens in Act 2A and Act 2B. You know, this is what usually happens in Act 3. So that's where your writer brain kicks in as a board artist, you know, knowing the narrative. If you have an understanding of the narrative, it'll help change the cinematography for you. It'll help determine how the camera moves. It should be more epic because it's the end of the movie, you know, rather than, you know, I mean, you can make things more epic in Act 2, but you're building to this. This is the end of the orchestra, you know. So putting that board down helps you. Like you put it down, you hit play, and you see how the story is working out, and your writer brain kicks in to help make it, you know, into what it should be. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yeah, no, that's like the rough sort of like, this is what we build with the storyboard, and from there, you know, it's a lot of rules. You know, when you're watching a movie, a lot of times the reason why you're watching a movie like, I know what's about to happen next, is because movies and scripts and writers and creatives are abiding by a set of rules. Now, how you break and twist and push and pull those rules creatively or otherwise, that's your individual sort of creative input, right? David Fincher is going to do it different than Steven Spielberg, who's going to do it different than Brad Bird. You know, like that's sort of the thing. And that's the fun for us, right? Like Justin and I combined 20 plus years now in animation and doing storyboards and some design. You just sort of now know what the rule book is. And now we're going like, all right, how do we take stories that need to be told and finessing them with our breaking of the rules? How do we do that now? And that's where we are in our career, and that's the exciting part. And you find that same thing too when you're not directing something as a storyboard artist, when you're going like, oh man, I can have this guy go through this thing and like that's that cool fun stuff when you locked into the rules enough to finesse them. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, really dope. There's about 5 years in when I went to Warner Brothers and worked on The Killing Joke with Sam and Bruce and all those guys. That was the time where I felt like after working on Killing Joke I felt really comfortable. I felt like, all right, I feel like I know what this is. I feel like I know what storyboarding and storytelling actually is. To be able to break the rules. And I remember Sam and he's just hammering me, just like, dude, you gotta know how to come from your gut, and you gotta like learn how to tell a story. Like, what in the heck are you trying to say? That is super important. Knowing where you're going. It's not enough to just, and you hear it all the time from like fans dropping lines on forums and all that stuff. I would have had Spider-Man doing this, and I would have had Spider-Man doing that, blah, blah, blah. That is a moment that I would have had, quote unquote, is a moment. You have to build these things. You have to build them up. And you got to keep 100 people on that same moment. You got to keep them on that same journey, you know, with you. Because it's not just you building it. And you got to convince the people upstairs who are turning the money levers. You got to keep them happy. You got to keep them excited. You know, it's their job to take money and make more with it, with your story, you know. And they're not just going to let you, I would have made Spider-Man do blank. They're not just going to let you do that, you know. So like, I got really comfortable about 5 years in, you know, and then I still feel like I had a lot to learn. Going to Skybound and working on Invincible taught me most everything else. That was the crucible. Running a gigantic show, putting a team together, directing a bunch of people in 2 continents, and directing overseas studios, you know, to animate and all that stuff. That was a huge deal.
And trying to direct, creatively, visually direct the shows, the episodes, and, you know, like to have creative input as opposed to just sort of leadership, protocol, establishment, and whatnot. It was bananas. Kipo, when I was on Kipo, it was right before Invincible, and that was where I sort of locked into like the rhythm, because I had not had a lot of. I had a lot of directing experience as a storyboard artist. You know, you're doing a lot of that, and sort of as you grow and evolve, you're going like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this because this is needed for what part of the script that I'm in, and blah blah blah. But Kipo was where I really jumped into a really nice rhythm because the idea of the show was so dope and out there. Shout out to our homie Rad Seacrest. Who's like a creative brother for Justin and I as well. But it was such an out there idea that Rad was like, Chris, you got to get on this thing and direct. And so every episode was just like, let's find and mine and build cool stuff. And then like Justin said, when we were show running on Invincible, that's where you sort of learned a lot of the other stuff, the political, the industry, the working in conjunction with big power people and whatnot. And it was fun and scary and crazy and bananas in some good ways.
Yeah, and it's been cool to take all of that TV experience and move it over to feature and try to learn how DreamWorks, they've been around for 25 years, learn how they do feature films and learn how we can add to it, but also, you know, progress and go left when at this turn you always go right. And Chris and I are like, what if you did left though? Flip your left.
It's funny too. And that's the thing. It's funny too, because it's like every answer to those questions you ask is like, no, because there's no, you're not relegated to nearly as many creative limitations or ideas in feature as you are in TV. And feature, it's sort of like, does it work? And if it works and it's clear, then go to town, go crazy. That's exciting and dope, but it's also scary because you're like, I'm gonna put this thing here, right? And then you look around and everyone's like, yeah, that's the thing. You're like, yeah, hell yeah. Or you're like, all right, boom, let me put another one. And then everyone looks at it and they're like, what the hell? What is this? And you're like, wait, what? You know, it can freak you out. So it's pretty dope. In the most, you have the freedom. Do you have the vision sort of way? And that's sort of what Justin and I are traversing with DreamWorks now. I think, is this thing supposed to end at 6:50? I feel like I saw somewhere that our thing ends at 6:50. So I'm wondering, like, did we show some? Are we gonna
an hour? But shoot,
I thought so too. I don't know. I got no
You want to try to show some stuff?
Well, I don't know. I saw we were talking. I don't know if we were thinking about showing stuff or having people. I don't know how many people are in here.
It's at 7. We have 22 minutes.
It's at 7. Okay, dope. So
thanks.
Do you want to open up for some Q&A? Or
I mean, there's a couple questions there, but I was gonna say, yeah, this is AFROCOMICON. So I'm imagining I'm talking to a room full of thousands and thousands of
I hope so.
Of Black people, you know, trying to break in the game, want to know what it's like, want to know what it's about, interested in animation, you know, and Hollywood. If you have, you know, been paying attention to like Hollywood, they're very excited about, you know, and I would say that in reality, they are excited about what is your voice? What is it? Like you have the chance. What do you want to say? You know, and fellas like Chris and I, we don't want it to just be a fad. We don't want it to be a thing it's a microwave dinner. You know, it's hot for 2 minutes and then throw it in the trash. You know, we want this thing to last and go. And it's going to take a generation of folks coming in that are eager to learn, that are patient, you know, that are going to learn the process, but are hungry, not going to give up, and have some stories to tell. We all got stories, you know, that we want to tell, and being patient about it. Feature people are easy to freak out. They're real easy because you do something like, no, God, no, don't do that. And then you ask them about their process and you're like, do you like your process? And they're like, no. You're like, bro, you know, if you don't like it, let's make it better, you know. But you got to be patient, you know. But at the same time, you got to be hungry. And Chris and I are hungry. We want to tell some dope stories. We think the feature that we're working on, the world is going to go crazy when they see it because it's dope. It's us, you know. And it's only the beginning. We're not doing all the things, you know. We're not doing all of the Black people things, you know. We're touching on, we're seeing the lives of, you know, of some people, but we're gonna need other people. I do want to see all of the things, you know, but that takes more and more people. So
that's for all the other people to tell those stories. We can only be hungry to tell the stories that Justin and I see as important. We can only be hungry enough to put the camera in the spotlight in the places that we are like, yo, that's important. And that's the beauty of our experiences, right? Like everybody has different experiences and want to tell different stories. And here's the other beauty about it is that those stories and your experience and your journey it's a plant. It takes time for it to grow, right? It takes watering on specific days, it takes a certain sort of dirt. And what I mean by that is like, everybody gets in and they're starving. They're like, yo, we're like gnawing at the teeth hungry in that first month. Then you get fired from Warner Brothers, right? And then it's like, how hungry are you then? Does that hunger still exist? So that's where that getting to know yourself comes into play. And Justin and I have wanted to do this for a long time, man. Our goal is still to direct a live action movie. Our goal is still to, I don't know, build a school somewhere in Chicago, like a film school or whatnot. Like we still have those things, but we know what our vision is, and it's locked in. It's very like, tell the stories, put the stuff on the screen, because that's what we've been wanting to do from the jump. And we're like, that's where we're going to keep that at. And every step just sort of feeds that a little bit more, satiates it a little bit less.
Yeah, man, definitely. We're going to need y'all. I mean, how many good stories do we have in us? I mean, it takes 4 years to make one of these,
man,
you know, and you know, in 40 years, I'm gonna be 80, you know, so it's gonna take everybody, you know. Okay, we could start fielding some questions. Any advice for a college freshman? I would say, know what you want to do. A lot of people get into college. I'm gonna get in the film program, but it's broad after that. It's like, oh, I'll do anything. Like, there's a line 3 miles long full of people that will do anything. But know what you want to do. Do you want to write? Do you want to direct? Do you want to be a cinematographer or bottom? Whatever that thing is, you got to push after that. You know, for me, college is tough because like you're gonna go to a place where how much are they really going to give you? You know, how much can they actually give you? The best film schools in the country for this stuff: USC, UCLA. What's the other one by you, Chris?
Oh, Art Center. No,
Yo, Art Center is
Cal
Arts. Okay, those are 4 best in the world. I mean, in America.
In America.
You got Gobelins in France. You got a bunch of colleges around. If you get hired out of one of those colleges, you're gonna be terrible. It's just the fact of the matter. You're not gonna be ready to do it. So, what is it that that school is actually gonna give you? Try to get the best out of that. You know, push those people to give you everything, you know, that you can possibly get. That's number one. Number two, most of the learning you're gonna do on your own. So if it's about getting a degree, get an associate's degree in English.
Yeah, so straight up.
Yeah. And then I would take, Chris and I have a storyboard class. I'm not pushing that right now, but there are tons of classes that you can take online. Drawing and storyboarding, I would do those as well to supplement your education, because college is rough. It's because it's expensive. It's going to give you a seat to sit down and draw, but that's about it. So.
Let's see. Favorite Marvel and DC projects you worked on? Oof. I'll get back to you on that one.
I would say Batman Hush was my favorite. Because that was my directorial debut, and it was a great story. Did you like Batman Turtles? Is that your favorite?
Batman Turtles would be my favorite for sure. Yeah. Batman Turtles was my favorite. That was the one I definitely had the most fun board on that thing. Shout out to Jay Castorena, the director on that. Bullet head homie of ours, man. But Jake let me have that dude let me have a.
Oh, Chris dropped out. Jake let him have a blast. He let him run amok, as Jake is wont to do. Chris will be back. His internet, all his kids are wearing his internet down on all them video games at his house. What challenges talking about? I don't know really what you're asking there. Let's see. How does a person who is self-taught break into the industry today? It's going to take a long time. But a lot of what we talked about, you can take some keywords from there. It's all about learning how to tell a story, you know, and learning how to tell a story. People who tell jokes are great storytellers. Man, there's one time this dude walked into a bar and sat down next to a blah, 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 and then you tell the joke. That's a great story. You know, it's having a punchline is you learning how to tell a story. Now, visually, how do you do that? You know, so it's you really taking the time to study visually, how do I tell a great story? And then how can I create a portfolio that will help me do that? Dude, your internet was being all like, it was on the fritz anyway.
Bro, it kicked me, it straight booted me out. I was like, yo, what's up, man?
All the kids wearing that thing on.
Man, wackadoo.
So yeah, it's learning the story and then putting a portfolio together and putting that portfolio out into the world and having people beat the crap out of it. You know, having people, you know, give you critiques and don't take that critique personally. Nobody cares about you. They care about what you're showing them. You know, now if they do start to get personal, then you know that's the place you want to work.
Walk off.
Yeah, but you know, don't take the critique personally, and you just keep on moving. So that's Chris and I are both self-taught, you know, and we both broke in by doing that. Years and years of portfolio reviews and just trying and learning the story.
Yeah. Push. Be great. Just keep going. Pin some mileage, man. Hang a carrot over your head that makes you keep pushing yourself. How does the pitching an idea work with your peeps at Marvel? I don't know what peeps we got at Marvel.
I got mad peeps at Marvel, Joe.
I mean, the pitching process, what are you pitching? Are you trying to pitch a property? Like, are you trying to pitch a movie concept or a movie idea? Are you trying to get a movie greenlit? Is it an original thing? There's so many variables to pitching. I remember when we were younger, and because Justin and I were the artists, and our other brother as well, our eldest brother, we were the artists, and everybody would always be like, yo, just make your own thing. Why y'all keep doing other people? Make your own thing. And I was just like, man, that never vibed well with me because it didn't seem realistic. It was always sort of like, I feel like there's more to it than that. And I was right. Like you, in terms of pitching your own thing, create your thing, but first understand the system, learn the system, learn like it's the whole idea of acclimate before you activate, right? Like learn what is being pitched, what studios are looking for in terms of material, and then once you know that, then you're building. You better understand story. Write out of one sheet, do some cool designs to pitch to someone that you know there, and you know, hope you can get a seat in a chit chat room with them.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it for that.
Don't pitch your own ideas to studios. Hang on to those bad boys.
Yeah,
learn, grow in that studio, and then pitch your own thing. And because your own ideas could be potentially worth millions of dollars. But storyboarding for video games, similar storyboarding animation shorts. Yeah, a lot of times though they will build their assets for video games and just use those to move the characters around. But it's pretty similar. How many revisions do you have to tolerate until you get to the grape? I'm guessing you mean like how many revisions, you know, do you like it, you know, it's like normal in the process. Like if I have I'm going to answer this in the best way I know how. Like if I have as a director, I have a certain amount of time to ship an episode. My production manager and my line producer have written out the schedule. We're dropping this thing in the mail on whatever date, and that's how long I have to get everything done for that show or movie. So I'll do as many revisions as I possibly can and make the thing good.
I was about to say, there's an endless amount of revision. Everything that I've ever worked on, I want to work on it some more and could have put it, but the clock said ding, 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 and that meant crap, turn it in. So you're always wanting to make it better.
Now, if you're asking, if you're a young person, if you're like or new to the industry, how many do I tolerate before I'm like, this ain't gonna work? A lot. You know, it's not about, I don't expect you to come in and just start hitting home runs. You know, if you have work ethic, if you're working hard, you have potential, you show that you can be good, then I'm gonna train you. You know, if you show that you don't know how to learn, you take everything personally. Every time notes come in, it's a fight or whatever, you're not gonna last long. You're gonna be out because it's like the NFL. In the NFL, everybody is fast. The fellas who get good are the ones who can be coached. Those that become great players. If you can listen and be coached, you know, your speed will be utilized correctly. And that's how I am. I'm a sports fanatic. Chris and I both are. And I like to use analogies from sports. Like if you are, you fast, you good. But if you ain't listening, then you're useless. You know, it's not about you. It's about people spending millions of dollars to try to make billions of dollars. It's okay to fit into that because they will make you rich in the process as well. So, and I have not reached that yet, but
every studio wants you to win. Directors want you to win because if you win, they win. It's a very simple concept, and sometimes you do have people with you know, agendas of their own that sort of are pushing and pulling you to fulfill that agenda. And you know, my thing is like, I'm not gonna let your greed beat my journey up. You know what I mean? So, I'm at a place where I'm just like, I know what I'm gonna do on that treadmill when I get on there. So you can give me all the information possible to make me better. And when I get on that treadmill, I'm just gonna go even further based on what you're telling me. So it's that idea. Favorite project and why? The one we're doing right now, because it's ours.
Yeah, it's a feature. Man. There was a lot of really good ones in there. Invincible was dope until it wasn't. Hush was dope because it was my directorial debut. I also directed a Wonder Woman movie. That was fun. Gotham by Gaslight is my favorite Batman story. Huh?
Gotham by Gaslight was so fun, man. I forgot about
that. Are you on that too?
Yeah, I got a ton of boards from that thing, man. That thing was fun as heck.
What's
the prison? Remember the prison fight when Bruce went to prison? Yeah. And the kids, the one with the little part with the kids.
That was dope.
So fun. But yeah, Kipo was something else, man. That was an experience in and of itself, just that I'll always go back to for a multitude of reasons, but creatively and just what it is, it was amazing. But what we're doing now, I'm like, it's real special. It's really special.
It's hard not to say the thing that you're working on, because
oh God,
I'm a better artist, than I was on the last thing, So real quick before this thing ends, thank you guys for coming, for support. We really appreciate it. You're probably gonna be tempted to Google me and click on the first Instagram name you see. That's not that fella. Still, so many of my people.
God.
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is Justin Copeland Art. It is not that first one. Justin Copeland Art, all one word. So yeah, hit me up on there. Chris and I are always around.
Yeah.
Like PM. I may or may not get back to you, but most of the time I get back to personal DMs. And look for our movie in a couple years. Can't tell you what it is, but
we'll be doing another storyboard class in the new year too. We'll update you guys when registration and stuff opens up. We're doing our last one for 2020 right now, so we can spend some time with our movie and with the family. But Chris Copeland Art on Instagram. Also follow the AFROCOMICON folks. I really feel like Justin said earlier, as COVID clears up and we're able to do more, I'd love to really be a part of coming to this convention.
That show gonna be lit, son. This is gonna be legit. Also,
huge shout out to Wacom. I was talking to everyone who was setting this thing up, and I said Wacom changed Justin and I's lives in a lot of amazing ways. I remember back in the day, Karan Grant, shout out to King Karan, amazing artist, but he was coloring on a tablet, and he was like, "Oh, it's a Wacom, it's an Intuos." And I remember my brain just being like, "What?" And man, so shout out to Wacom and the AFROCOMICON folks. Thank you guys for having us. It's been really amazing.
Oh, Kyle, I could try to answer your question as fast as possible. If you are a fight person, really dope fights. If not, then either way, you got to have good storytelling, but good action. Watch a good action movie. Watch one of those DC DTVs, and you'll see everything you need to put into
build a good shorthand. Build a good shorthand.
Fight choreography.
Yep. Learn what animation drawing is about. Economic shape theory. That work on that stuff, you guys. Clarity in your drawings. That stuff will take you real far. Boom. Is that the TikTok? Is that the?
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Everybody stay safe, stay hopeful. Get out there and vote.
Yeah, man.
Vote. Let's use our power. Adios.